Hello there, and thank you for joining me. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Lesley Pazdzioch. Tonight, I really want to really have a heart-to-heart talk about, our inner guidance. And first of all, I want to talk about what's going on in the world. There's a lot going on, and it seems to be quite. Well, there's quite a lot, right? There's quite a lot going on. And it seems that, you can either, there's different ways to be looking at it. However, it does seem a bit chaotic. It seems a bit for a lot of people. And it seems to be really concerning and causing anxiety and uncertainty. And that's tonight, that's what I'd like to really talk about. On these Tuesday mornings and Thursday evenings, I'm going to be holding these live events so that we can talk about some of these things that are going on in the world and hopefully gain a better perspective on what's happening, why it's happening, and how best can we truly understand it from an internal perspective rather than an external perspective, right? I can't see anything, so I have to put my glasses back on. So let's just talk about this for just a moment. There's a lot of things. We have rivers coming that haven't had water in them for centuries, and we have earthquakes and all kinds of stuff, and there's a lot of upheaval. But I think it's I think that there's a lot going on. I'm trying to find the right words here. There is a lot going on, but it's also a time. To me, it's like a holy cleansing, right? It's like things are coming up and they're being brought forward, and we're having choices and decisions that we get to make on how we want to see things. But from the outer perspective, that's fine, but I really want to talk about what's about internally. How do we deal with this internally, because that's really what's important. And first of all, I want to start off by saying we're all going to be handling this differently. We're all to have grace and compassion with yourself and within yourself, and really look inside and I don't know why. Really look inside and say, how am I feeling about this? What can I draw from this to stand on some solid ground? How can I make sense of my outer world from an internal perspective? And when we do that, I think that it really brings in a lot of clarity. It gives us a ton of clarity, but it also helps us better understand ourselves, and it helps us better understand others. We don't always understand why people do the things that they do, but then sometimes we don't even understand why we do some of the things that we do. So if we really just start to look inside of ourselves and look for the answers, I think that it's really helpful. And to stay calm about certain things. One of the things that is really going to be helpful during this time right now is to start getting rid of the things in our lives that no longer serve us. Those can be a lot. That's a lot of different things, behaviors and things externally. But I'm talking about the things internally. What's going on inside of us that that no longer is serving us. Where are we building walls? Where are we holding grudges? Where are we feeling shame? Where internally are there things that are uncomfortable, that aren't sitting right with me, that I truly, or that you would want to truly make peace with? what is it that would bring internal peace, so that the external environments, um, you can make sense of the external environments easier, right? When we have foundations, internal foundations, then the exterior truly does hold a different perspective. One of the things that is important during this time right now for people, for us all to do while we're looking inward, is to make amends with the things that we personally are holding against ourselves. You know, this is a time when we look inside and say, what have I done to other people that I need to make peace with? And the reason that we start there is it's almost like confession, truly. But when we start on it, when that's what I did when I came to I came to a point in my life where I just needed some clarity, right? I needed to know, you know, what this was all about, why I was here, what was going on, and to make sense of everything. And so and I started by looking at myself, looking within, what was bothering me within myself, um, so that I could make room, right? We need to make room for other things to fit. And if inside of us we have things that are holding us back, we need to clear those out. Right now, we need to really clear those things out, because if we make this space, we clear out the things that no longer serve us or that are holding us back. It gives us room to put other things in, but it also clears the space away for us to really hear our internal guidance, right? And when we get to the core of our internal guidance, when we get to the soul part aspect of us, then that can lead us. It's almost like you can't, if there's a map or a GPS system under a whole bunch of stuff, you need to move that stuff off your GPS, or you have to clear that stuff away off the map and everything to get to the map that you need to be able to navigate through, right? And one of the things that I found most beneficial is really looking at inside. And if there was something in my life and I looked at it like a behavior or an action or a person or a thing, and I would look at it and I would think, is this bringing me joy? How is this adding value to my life? And if it didn't add value, and it was like a thing, if there was a picture or an item that, you know, when I thought about it, it had memories to things in the past that really weren't serving me, that really kept me held back or repressed or not moving forward, then I set it aside. I made it so that I couldn't see it anymore, and I put it in a certain area, and within 6 months to a year, if I didn't use it, then I got rid of it. And that's part of what I'm talking about when you start clearing the space. But you do it on an internal basis, right? You look inside of you and you say, for instance, if you're harboring or holding grudges against somebody for something that they did, you see it on shows all the time. Oh, from high school, they go to their high school reunions. They there's always that person or the situation that comes up. But it's those types of situations and scenarios in our life when we start to make peace with those. And by really looking inside, we can make peace with it. we don't have to sit with it. We're not supposed to be sitting with it. Those experiences were here to help us grow, to help us better understand ourselves. And when we don't when we haven't utilized it for what it needs to be, it just sits there, and it blocks us from a lot of other aspects of who we are. It blocks us from ourselves, right? So, but when we look at that and we say, okay, how can I like that word, when you transform something, alchemy, when you can alchemize something and turn it into something that's beneficial to you, right? Make it something that is going to help you understand better. And I'm not talking from an ego perspective. I'm talking from an internal perspective. You know, what did you learn about yourself, and what did you learn about the other person? You know, sometimes when people are very kind to us and we're not very kind to other people, we have to. It teaches us compassion. It teaches us humility. It teaches us a lot of different emotions. But that's up to us to really look inside. And if that's the small, if that's the only thing that we gain from it, is that we learned compassion, that's huge. That's huge. Because there's a lot of times we walk around and we don't have that compassion. And when we don't have that compassion, we're not aware of the environments around us that really require that we are attuned to that aspect of us so that we can help people. Here's a really good example. Today, this just came off the top of my head. Today, as I was walking through the store, I was walking up to the pharmacy, and there was a woman who had you know, at the end of the aisle, she dropped a thing of deodorant, and she went to pick it up, but she couldn't. And I mean, I didn't know why she couldn't, but I noticed that this happened. But that's like the compassionate parts of who we are. It's like noticing these situations around us, right? We have to notice through having that inner compassion instilled within us, that we can notice those things. But I just, you know, and then she went to lean over, she stood up, and then she turned, and I was standing there, and I asked her, "Would you like me to help you?" And she said, "Oh, I just had surgery on my stomach, and I can't bend over. Would you mind?" I said, "Absolutely not." And I picked it up and handed it to her. But this is what I'm talking about. When we can instill those aspects, those internal aspects, compassion, empathy, patience, discernment. These are all personal growth areas that we grow within ourselves, right? But then when we take that and we have those, we grow these skills within ourselves through the processing of these interactions with other people. We should never walk away. Very often, there are going to be times when we do, but we should really never walk away from a situation and let it harbor for years and years within us, because we haven't processed that information correctly. And unless we have a place of peace and harmony when we processed it, then it stifles our growth, and not only our personal growth, but it also stifles the growth that our soul has. And that's really important. It's really important to understand that, especially right now, because there's a lot of spiritual, like, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people are aware of it, but there's a ton, there's a lot going on in the world where it's a cleansing time. It's a time to cleanse things. It's a time to get things right within ourselves, not only with ourselves, but with others as well, right? It's an upheaval that's happening, and while it can be very beautiful, we can see it as a very beautiful thing. It's a growth thing, but we really have to understand who we are first, and and I'm talking about on an internal level, and this is where it's going, by growing and healing those aspects of who we are and understanding and building them within ourselves, that compassion, the empathy, the love, the forgiveness, the unconditional love, limitless compassion, the empathy, the really getting inside, so that when we see what's going on around us, we can really tune in to what's important for us. I hope this is making sense to everybody. But here's a good perspective. There are 6 generations living on this planet today. 6. There are more people on this planet than ever before. We're all uniquely made. We all have unique needs, desires, tendencies, and behaviors, right? None of us are the same. We're all different, and we all need to really look at each other for who and what we are as individuals, and not put them or anybody into a category, or even ourselves, right? Don't pigeonhole anything into something specific, right? Because we're all different, and we're all supposed to be different. You're uniquely created. You're here to grow your soul, and as you grow your soul, as you grow through your personal development, and your personal development has it's all connected, and you have to do it from the inside out, right? We have to do it from the inside out. But when we look at things from the inside of us, and we can see the broader perspective of the world on a level of observation, instead of judgment, ridicule, and everything else, and we look at it and we say, how can I learn from this situation? What can I take from it that helps me grow? And some of those most struggling times are going to be the times when they hurt the most. When it hurts the most, they're going to be the hardest ones that we have to deal with. But it's possible. But those are the times when you grow the most, when we struggle the hardest. Because when we struggle, it's almost like learning a new skill. We're learning something new about ourselves, right? We're learning something new about ourselves. And it's through those moments when we come out from the other side that we really realize how beautiful we are. And the reason this is so important is because until we know who we are, we will never find our connection to our guidance, to the divine aspects of who we are. Because our soul, there's only a part of our soul here. The rest of it is still in the collective conscious, right? But we come here and we have to really work with these 2 aspects in order to meet the purpose that our soul is here to our soul mission. We're on a life journey to meet our soul mission. But in order for all this to happen and happen correctly, and there's a lot to it, but it's simple once you start. Once you start at the beginning and you walk through it, if you try to do it you gotta just start from the beginning of knowing who you are, right? You have to start, who are you, so that you can know why you're here, and from there, it's a breeze. It's so much easier than people really understand, but it takes us to start at square one and really look and define who we are, not by any external situations, external circumstances, nothing that we've carried with us for a really long time. But if we sit down and we look inside, what makes you feel good? What brings you joy? And if those are the things, elevated but anything less than that, those are not you. To figure out, okay, how do I alchemize this into my and turn it into personal growth? And a lot of it, my friends, is done through forgiveness. It's all about forgiveness, looking inside, knowing who you are. It's looking at something, saying, I've carried this around for a really long time, and it's just really not a part of me. And I have to forgive myself for carrying it around. And then you have to learn new skills, right? You have to learn how to live your life going forward without those beliefs, without that aspect of you. And you have to keep reminding yourself, oh yeah, that's not me. Oh yeah, that's not me. This is who I am. This is who I am. And you have to exercise that within yourself, and then you have to take it out into the world. And it's a little bit more difficult when you have to take it out into the world. And I can attest to that. I am at that stage where I'm taking my true self out and trying to function into the world. And you gotta, it's an adjustment, but it's who you are, and it's who you should be, so that you can hear this guidance, so that you can move forward. If you want to learn more about this, I have created a program. It's a 7-week program where there's really 4 levels of this. If you're an individual and you pretty much feel like you have everything going well, but you just want to make sure that you're on the right track, there's a solo journey where you just do it all on your own, and you just follow the guide, and it will take you where you need to be. You'll find your guarantees, and you'll follow through smoothly. Now, with that, I want to also say that I have built into it, because I want everyone to succeed. So I have built into that solo program a few Hail Marys that will catch you, so that you pretty much, if you go through the program, you do it correctly, you should be, it's almost guaranteed that you'll succeed. But that's truly up to you. Then there's another second portion. There's the second option where we do it as a group, where everybody comes together and you do your work internally. And then as you do the work, you are interacting with others and trying on your new skills. You're learning to see, does this fit? Does this work with me? How do I, how am I comfortable with this? Is this the right choice for me? And I think that's probably the best option, because it's slow changes. Here, just there are little changes within in a group, because there will be a group mentorship program, but it will be a group of people where you make those little changes within yourself, and you go out into a group of like-minded people that are making similar changes, and you interact with each other, and you think, this is good, this is working, okay. And if it's not working, you make the adjustments where you need to make them. And then there's a third option. This is a third option where you just don't have 7 weeks to really go through this on a slow pace, and you just want to get in. You want to hammer out as much as you possibly can. You want to clear out the garbage. You want to hammer into place what it is, and you just want to move forward, right? You still have the options of the group, but this is more of an intense get together where I come to you for 3 days, and we sit down and we go through things, and we figure out what you don't want and what you do want. But it's not like you're telling me, like a therapist. I'm guiding you through your internal cleansing. You can share certain things with me if you choose, but for the most part, you really don't need to. There's really no need to share some of those internal things, because that's for you. That's your stuff, right? That's your stuff. But you can still heal it. We can still set out what it is you want this to look like, and then you take it from there. This is for people that really can just change on a dime. They set their mind to something. They're determined. They're diligent. They just move, right? They just move, and very precise people, very precision people. And this is for people that live in the United States or Canada, because that's where I can travel to right now. Later on, I'll broaden and widen the travel. But if you are outside of the United States and Canada, there's still an option. We can do it online. We do the same procedure. We're just not one-on-one. And we still eat together. We still have like little breaks. We can sit one-on-one, face-to-face, and you can eat your meal and I can eat mine, and things are going to be great. But it's an online learning, very intense. You know, you and I are here going through stuff. You have your setup and I have my setup, but it's almost like we're sitting right across the table from each other, and we go through things, and we have the same process that we would if we were one-on-one in a normal setting. Anyway, I hope that this information has served you, and that if you want to learn more about these different programs, and if you would like me to help you with any of them, please, there's a link in the description to where you can go through, really read into the into each program, so that you really have an in-depth understanding of how they work. As well, there's a mentor. There's a mentorship. There's a pilot program. This is a pilot program that you can participate in if you choose to, and there's some benefits to that as well if you choose to. Benefit if you choose to participate in the pilot program. What the pilot program is all about is to help me better understand the public and what others need, so that I can create those so that I can create what is needed for the larger population. And anyway, it's all there. It's all self-explanatory. But I do hope that that this webinar, or well, it's like a masterclass, but it's more for just a chat. And if you have any questions, put it in the little chat section. But I thought about these as being masterclasses, but I think more, let's just make them like little chats and really go through. And if you have any questions about something that you're struggling with, let me know, because that's what we're here to. We're all here to grow together. I hope this makes sense to you. And if you have any questions, please fill out the form that's attached to the description area. And for me, I guess that's it. If you have any questions, please let me know. And if not, and you choose to attend the next one, I'll see you on Tuesday morning at 10. Thanks so much. Have a good evening.